welcome back to Stick to Fitness, brought to you by myself and my co-host Archie. And on today's episode, the topic for discussion is, what are the top excuses that people make during fat loss? So there's many reasons why people don't succeed. What do you think are the biggest struggles, biggest excuses?
What's my biggest excuse to start with?
Let's start with you. Yeah.
What's my biggest excuse? I'm tired.
You're tired.
I like takeaway too much. Can't be asked to cook. What's been something that you've done where it's like, when you have like struggled with fat loss? Because sometimes everyone goes through that phase where it's like, it's getting a bit tough now. What's been that? So when you've been like on prep, for example, and then you've caved, what's been the reasoning behind that? Because it's not to say that you, like, again, even like with me, it's like we still have achieved it, but what's been the hiccup in the road? The bump in the road, even.
It's probably either stress,
yeah.
Right? Like you're just like, oh, fuck this shit. You know, like whether something's triggered you, right? Whether it's like, I don't know, your baby shut down your arm, or you know, your work is really busy. That one, or probably the biggest one, I think, for me, is that comparison syndrome with people. And you're going through Instagram, you're seeing other competitors, and you're thinking, I'm not going to beat this guy. What is the fucking point? Let's go. And then you really don't beat someone because
of course
you've done that, right?
So what have you heard then? So obviously you've been doing this a long time. So what's been some of the reasons why you've heard clients fall off or not?
I think the biggest one, like in terms of, and this stops people from signing up, is I don't have enough time. Yeah, like people always like cover that, and I think. What do you think of that?
I mean, I think that's more like a smokescreen. The time thing is more like, well, I don't know if I'll be able to, because everyone has time. We all have the same time. And I think...
Oh, we've got a different time, man.
No, but in terms of everyone's got the same amount of time. How you use it is up to you, but, you know, when you're dealing with, you know, you look at some people that have achieved great fat loss results, they all didn't have time, but they made time because it's important. I guess it's more so if your client's saying they don't have time to do it, is it really that important to them? So you're willing to go that extra mile? Because you look at like the CEOs of like billion-dollar companies that have time to work out and train and
that's mad, isn't it?
Like do whatever. So you're telling me like you work in retail.
Do you think they have more time than somebody else that does like just?
I guess their time is more valuable. So that hour that they would spend training could cost them
a lot of money,
but it's so important to them that they do that. I think Stephen Bartlett talks about that quite a lot because he's quite big into his training. And
is he?
Like, yeah, well, he says he is. He trains like five times a week. He says he has to train, or he did like
a week. Training?
He trains in he trains sometimes in Muscleworks Bethnal Green.
No,
yeah,
for real.
You've not seen that on his Instagram?
I don't follow him, innit?
Oh,
Bethnal Green, him.
Yeah, but I think more so now he trains at like one of them private like studio ones. But he's definitely been in there a couple of times.
I reckon people don't even know who the fuck he is when he goes into Muscleworks.
No, not in Muscleworks, no. But I hear a lot about money.
Imagine I got my joggers stolen, right, from Muscleworks. So I went to do legs and I hung up my joggers that I wore. Right?
When the changing room?
Yeah, because I wore shorts when I trained legs, right?
Why didn't you put it in your bag?
I don't know. I just hang stuff, right? And then I thought I'd come back. I think it's a Singapore thing. Like when I was in Singapore, people never used to steal your shit. So then I got too comfortable. And I came back and I was doing that. Anyway, I didn't think someone would take holy joggers. I got a hole in the crotch, right? I think someone would take that. You know what I mean? I used to... Came back, fucking gone. Some geezers took it. And like, it's probably was still warm because I was still wearing it. But anyway, imagine Stephen Bartlett going and someone's nicked his trousers.
Yeah. That could happen.
But he's probably got enough money where he's like paying for like a locker.
He's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that 20p.
they take your 20p, bro.
I know.
That's
Muscleworks, stop taking the 20p's.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
But I think I hear a lot of people talk about money. I know money is a sensitive subject. But I guess it's when people say money is the reason stopping them from achieving their fat loss goal, but then they're eating out, they're partying, drinking, smoking, whatever it is. You have money for that. So I guess it's like, again, that's where it comes down to, I think, is the importance of what it is that you're trying to do. Because if money is the issue, you always, I guess...
I don't think money ever really is the issue. Well, to a degree.
I don't know.
Right?
I think that's hard to say because you obviously... You don't know what people's
to a degree.
Finance,
to a
degree. But if you wanted to, you would find a price that suits them.
Yeah,
and
I
they would
think
have the money
a
for
lot
it.
of people would like. Let's say if you really want something, right? You'd save up that money for it, right?
Yeah, I think that's where it comes down to. You'd have to sacrifice something. Because if you're going out all the time, you're sacrificing something financially for that anyway. So I don't know.
Let's say when I was little, right? When you wanted a PS3, so you work, you save money every month. It took me like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months to afford that PS3, and I bought it. If you want coaching,
yeah, if you're that serious, and I mean, I always say when people come and talk about money, it's like I always say, you can't put a price on every day looking in the mirror being like unhappy. Like you would find like whatever it is, or you might even say like, listen, I can't afford that price, but what can you? This is what I can afford. What can you give me for that sort of thing? Yeah. But I think it's more frustrating when people do say, oh yeah, it's a money thing. Then obviously you have them on socials and stuff, and you can see like what they're doing. And it's like you spent more than £150 on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
But that's what they want to spend their money on.
Yeah, of course. But that's where it comes down to, this is important to me. So this is what I want to spend my money on, sort of thing. So,
and I think it's because it's knowledge. I think a lot of times it's it's cliche, but it's an investment, right?
Of course.
So when you buy into a course, you don't just buy the outcome. You're buying the knowledge that never gets taken away from you unless you have amnesia, right? So you learn everything. So you learn how to eat. You learn how to lose fat. You learn how to maintain your weight. That stuff is invaluable because you're always going to see a return.
It's lifelong, isn't it?
You're going to see a return on investment. Every year that you don't gain fat again, you're seeing an investment. Every time you go out to eat, every time you sit next to your family at Christmas and they're all talking shit about like, oh, we need to lose 10 pounds.
Yeah.
You're getting a return investment.
I guess as well, the return investment that you could be getting for some people is like you're getting like days or years, months even back on your life. For some people, if you want to look at it from that extreme, it's like you really put a price on that.
Diabetes medication.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. What else then have you heard?
But yeah, just going back on the time thing as well, it's like I think, yeah, if a lot of people, if they only did be able to do it when if they're always going to think, okay, I don't have enough time to do this, right? But then when are you ever going to have the time to do it? Because
never,
right? Until you retire, maybe then you have a bit more time. But then
you might be dead by then.
No one can care how you look, right? When you retire, I probably won't. But yeah, if you keep giving yourself that limitation that you don't have the time, the reason why you kind of need to do it when you don't have the time, or you feel like you don't have the time, is because that's what's going to help you to keep it up. And why you're not in shape is because you think that time is the limiting factor, right? That's stopping you from and it's learning how to do the things that you need to do whilst being busy.
And there'll always be someone out there who's busier than you achieving what you want to achieve. There's always, like the old saying is, like there's always someone out there bigger than you, stronger than you. For sure. Well, there is.
So that's the time. The other one I think a lot of people say is they have a slow metabolism. That's a big one. So it's like I can't, anything that I eat, I end up getting fat. And then there's like my friend who doesn't eat much or eats loads, and
I can't stand hearing things like that. It actually annoys me.
Why'd you say that?
Because it's like, oh yeah, or the other one is like linked into that kind of, it's like, I don't eat a lot. I don't know why I can't lose weight. I'm not eating a lot. Yeah. And it's like, if you actually sat down and actually looked at what it is that your day to day is looking like and how much you move and things like that, like you're in a surplus by like 800, 900 on calories. Yeah, it's just like,
I think to gain, like, people are gaining weight probably like sometimes, 500 grams, a kilo, maybe a week or a month, that takes a significant surplus to be able to do that.
Of course.
It's not a quick thing. It's like it's a slow build over time, right? So yeah, I think
it has to be something that's looked at in terms of if you're just gonna blame metabolism for it, then you might as well just not bother.
Because they may not necessarily be eating a lot, but they're having a lot of calories.
Yeah.
I think that's the real thing. It's like, and people don't understand that you can have something very small, which is high in calories, versus you can have all of this food if you cook it yourself.
Yeah. Well, I had that
You
with
can
one of my
control
friends. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm cutting." He goes, "I'm gonna have a snack." I said, "Oh yeah, what?" It's like, "What are you having?" He's like, "Cashews." I was like, "What? How many?" He's like, "The whole bag." I'm like, "What do you mean you're having the whole bag?" He's like,
Honey
"Yeah,
cashews, yeah?
no, just plain ones, like salted ones." He's like, "Yeah, but it's just protein." I was like,
It's fat, bro.
I'm like, you're talking like it's over like a whole bag of cashews is like thousands of calories as a snack. I said, what I said, you need to have like 30 grams as a snack, not 150.
30 grams like this.
Yeah, it's like 5 nuts, isn't it?
I think nuts are the worst thing for fat loss.
Do you?
Yeah,
What,
it's
like,
just...
even like peanut butter?
Yeah, even that.
I think things like that are because you can't.
It's so easy.
Yeah, it's too easy. And if you're not measuring it to the gram and you're eyeballing it, and you're like, I'll just have a
And
spoonful
it
of
like,
peanut
butter
butter.
especially, it tastes good, right?
So you want
People
more.
like want more of it. And yeah, the nut thing is just, people underestimate it. Everyone always like, it's healthy fats. Yeah, avocado, healthy fats.
Egg. Eddie Abu.
Did you see his egg ice cream?
No.
Oh my god, he posted this post yesterday, and it was an ice cream, right? Like there's like lemonade icicle kind of thing. Fucking had an egg inside it. Grim, man. And then he did another one. What was it? He went to the butcher's, just fucking ate raw meat. Straight, he bought a steak, and he just like, don't worry, I'm out of bag. Just started eating it.
What a strange guy, man. He's not all there in the head.
He ain't there, bro.
He's not all there. Too many steroids.
Funny guy though, but I'll give him that. It's
So, yeah,
definitely a lot of views. And then people were saying like, oh, I'm gonna have to question my the nutrition knowledge that I've been gaining from you because you.
Oh,
just eating a steak.
100%. But I think that's where, part of the coming down to people's excuses is like,
He wants it. Eddie wants it, man.
Yeah, but like you're following people and following fitness advice, and then you're not achieving your goal, and then it's like, well, is that your fault as the person, or is it the person that you're following's fault?
That's tough, isn't it? But if it wasn't there in the first place,
You wouldn't follow it.
yeah, you wouldn't have.
But
that
then
advice,
always do your own research.
of course.
So people are like, oh, I've been doing this. More and more people I'm seeing doing this carnivore diet.
Yeah, what's that about? Why is
You just
why is
eat
that?
meat.
But it's been around for a little while now. But why are people picking it up now?
I don't know.
Someone's definitely
Trend.
advocating it, right? But someone's made it a trend. Somebody famous, like Insta famous.
I'm not sure. I'm just seeing more and more of it, and I'm like,
because it kind of come and died already, and now
yeah,
it's
but people,
come back.
it's the same with like the keto diet, and it was the same with like Slimming World, all this Slimming World stuff where it's like,
Yeah.
you can have as many potatoes as you like because it's not a sin. Like
Yeah.
you can only have like, I don't know how many sins it is a day, but like potatoes, bro, is not a sin. So they say you can eat as many potatoes as you want, and it's not a sin.
From what I've seen, I've always seen people who do they sell the Slimming World stuff. They're always overweight.
I don't know. I can't even pay any attention to it, if I'm being honest with you. But I don't know. It's difficult because people will still achieve fat loss through it. People have done,
Yeah.
but they're just eating in a caloric deficit.
Yeah.
It's nothing special.
But just how they're selling it, right? How they're
It's well
teaching you.
marketed, yeah.
It's how they're teaching you, which is, I think, the
Yeah.
issue. Arguably, you could say they get better results than some of the coaches.
I would
They
argue
do it
that they
properly,
do.
right?
Yeah. Unlimited
So-
potatoes.
Yeah, so who's wrong here? Do you know what I mean? He's doing worse. That's why people go to Slimming World. It fucking works. You know?
Yeah, I guess it does, but it's still.
What hole were you digging down to get that to achieve?
Yeah.
Right?
What excuse you gonna look for if you don't achieve it?
Yeah. Well, I couldn't drink the shake, or is it?
Yeah.
No, that's Herbalife.
That's
I don't know.
Herbalife, yeah.
I couldn't just eat certain sins.
Yeah, I think that's another excuse is where I have people all the time where it's like, oh, I can't eat the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hear that, but you're not willing to expand your knowledge to create dishes or something. It's like you only want to eat certain things in your diet. So you only want to eat red meat, chicken, rice, potato, veg, porridge, whatever. That's all you're saying that you want to eat. So you're going to be limited to what you can eat. Yeah. So what do you mean you don't want to eat the same thing all the time? I don't understand it.
I always ask people, what do you want to eat then?
Yeah. What do you want? Like, what do you actually want?
I think that's a really, I love that question because it then puts you in a position where it's like, you're saying that you're bored of eating the same thing, but then what do you actually want to eat every single day? Like, what do you want to have?
What is it? You
Because
want a choice?
that's the real answer, right?
Yeah.
Because there's always excuses. Like excuses are always just like these things that people make up that don't. It's not really the issue. So
There's
like,
something behind it.
Yeah, I don't want to eat this every single day. Is it really that, or is it like you want to eat something else? It's not that you don't want to eat the same thing every day. You want to eat something else that you like every single day.
Yeah.
Let's find out what it is, and let's give you the amount that you do want to eat.
For sure.
So whether it's I don't know, they're Chinese and they want to eat dinner with their wife that they cook, right? And you don't want to eat something that's like
You don't want to eat cream of rice.
yeah, you know what I mean? I want to eat actual rice.
Yeah.
Then let's figure out. Let's think about what you actually do want to eat and then build around that.
But I think a lot
that's really
of the time though, people don't actually know what they want to eat.
That's the fucked up thing, isn't it?
I think
how can I help you out?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Am I supposed to mind read and figure out what you want?
So
to
I've
eat?
set you this on your plan based on what you said that you want, and then you're saying that you can't stick to it. So what else do you want?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
But then you got to ask them like, if you didn't have your diet tomorrow, what would you eat?
They wouldn't know. I don't think they would know.
Surely they do, because they're going to come to that moment.
No, but it depends though. I guess it depends what environment you're in. If you're like working and then you just go out for lunch and just buy like, oh, this looks good today, or
Yeah, but then what is that? Good looks good today, because then that
I don't
kind
know.
of gives you an idea of what they actually do like to eat, right? Everyone knows what they like to eat. Everyone's got an opinion. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. But we just went for something to eat now, and I just followed you. I would have eaten anything. Didn't bother me. Couldn't care less where we went. I thought we were going to Greg's. We didn't. I was a bit upset.
Are you upset? Oh, we can still go Greg's.
So I don't know. Like how, unless you're serious, like not serious, but unless you're like organised,
Yeah.
do you really care what you eat? Is that like, do people actually care? Like I know, like my mum, for example, if we have pasta, like when we were young, if we had pasta on a Monday, we ain't having pasta again that week. We have to have something different.
Yeah. Does she care? She cares.
I think she does care.
Yeah.
Whereas like me, I put that pasta every night. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I know.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like my mum wouldn't do this. She's like, no, we've already had that this week. We're not having that again. Like I'm like, okay, well, what difference does it make?
But then what
It's
is
nice.
she gonna have? Does she know what she wants to have?
But she doesn't know.
She
This is
doesn't know.
part of the problem. She knows that she doesn't want to have the same thing that she's already had that week.
Right, but she doesn't know what
But when she
wants
goes
to have.
into the shop, she'll just look and be like, well, what can I make?
But then she must have some go-to recipes that she always cooks. You know what I mean? Like the rotation of food. Where okay, today I'm gonna have pasta. Tomorrow I'm gonna have tortillas. Then the next day I'm gonna have rice.
Yeah, but they might not appear every week.
But there's still a somewhat of a rotation, right?
Yeah, but
There's
when you
some
have quite a
trend.
large palate and you will eat anything,
Yeah.
I guess it makes it harder. So if you're someone that's like a beige eater where you're like, I'm only going to eat roast chicken.
But that just opens up your opportunities to what you could do, right? So if you,
Of course, yeah.
let's say she likes all these things, okay, everything's different. For how many days is it going to be different? I'll give you 2 weeks.
Yeah. I guess so, yeah.
I'll give you 2
you're right.
weeks.
Yeah, because you always go back to a default, which is like a rice dish,
No,
a
but
pasta
I'll give you
dish.
2 weeks because those are going to be the things that you want to eat. Let's just figure out the amounts that you want to eat of that.
That's why it's quite good giving clients like
Macros.
macros
Yeah.
or like a meal, not a menu, but like a recipe book. So it's like, these are the recipes that you could try.
I fucking hate recipe books.
Do you actually?
I
Why?
actually hate recipe because it's just like, it's just more shit that you're never ever going to do.
I know, but if there's someone like that that's like, I don't want to eat the same thing, it's like, well, here's a recipe
You
book.
think your mum would actually follow a recipe book?
My mum always uses a recipe book.
Really?
Yeah, but she's old, they're old school though.
Old
My
school.
mum's got like every Jamie Oliver cookbook,
No way.
different
You
types
called
of
Jamie Oliver a snake.
Who?
You did.
When?
In one of our podcasts.
Oh yeah, about turkey twizzlers. Yeah, for
He's a
sure.
snake.
Yeah, but these restaurants are decent. So yeah,
So mum follows the cookbook. Good for her.
who?
Mum.
Always. If she's like doing a dinner party or something,
Swear down.
she'll go to the recipe book and get something that she's maybe not done before. So she'll see something that she likes, then
Wow. I didn't know people like that existed.
yeah,
Wow.
white people.
I just make it up on the spot. I'm just like, You know when you get like this is what happens in bodybuilding, right? You get like loads of different seasonings of herbs, right? You're like,
Garlic,
okay,
onion,
I'll try this one today. I'll try
rosemary.
this one. Then later it goes like this.
Yeah, you just.
And then you get all of these and you're just like,
I got to the point where it's just like,
it all tastes the same now, isn't it?
well, I don't even eat for this. Always girlfriend mentions it as well. It's like you just eat. And it's like she's like, do you actually enjoy eating? I'm like, not really.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely the longer you do this stuff, like you always
The
say,
less- the more
is that thing
immune
was
you
like
get to it,
yeah,
right?
you eat for function,
Yeah.
not for taste. Like
But that also doesn't mean that you're not eating for taste at all. It doesn't mean that it's horrific.
No, it doesn't have to be like atrocious, but like I'll happily just eat the same thing. If she was like, what do you want for dinner? I'm like, some sort of chicken and some rice. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Or like in prep, like you can get to the point where it's like, you know, what are you having for dinner? It's like porridge.
But you look forward to it. Prep. That's the difference.
Yeah, in prep, you look for. Yeah, so I had oats for the first time since the prep. I was taking the photo yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't bang the same, man.
No?
No, it's not the same.
No.
And I was so full afterwards. I can remember eating that.
How much did you eat?
120 grams.
Lightweight, man. I had 120 grams this morning and I had that Chipotle that we just had.
No, but I was afterwards, I was so full out. I couldn't move. I can remember on prep, I could have eaten that 5 times.
200, innit?
Yeah.
Like 200 grams.
I could have eaten it
balls
5
all the way to the top.
But I think I've just not. Food now is not. It doesn't really. For a reason for me not to stick to my diet, food is not the option. I just have the same thing.
I've never really had, unless I'm on prep. I don't have a desire to eat food. Like in terms of like, I don't go, oh, I really fancy that.
No,
never.
I always just if we're going out to eat or whatever, takeaway, where it's like, what do you want? Like just whatever you tell me what you want, and I'll just eat it. Basically,
I could easily not eat for the whole day.
No, I couldn't not eat.
Really?
I couldn't not eat. But I'm a bit like, 3 hours has passed. I need to eat something.
Yeah, that's how I'm like now. But
because we're serious now.
I'm fucking serious. But yeah, I could easily just not eat the whole day. Like that is my body type and the way that I am. As like even growing up as a kid, I could be like, I'll be them Chinese nerds. You know, see them Chinese nerds playing games, not eating.
No, if it gets to 10 a.m, I'm not eating. I get a headache. I need to eat something.
Weak sauce, man.
Yeah, I can't concentrate. I need to eat something.
Fucking hell. Definitely dying first if you're on the island.
Oh, 100%.
I'll be surviving constantly.
You'll have a good portion of meat to eat off me.
Or shredded.
Island competition.
That's it. Island classic. So yeah, you were saying that people don't want to eat the same things, right? So
Yeah, I think people do struggle with that.
What's the solution?
I think that's where macros are handy.
But then do you feel like people just want to eat shit? Like they're just like, oh, I want to eat this, and then they're trying to squeeze a thing, and then they can't actually eat the thing that they need, which then creates that.
Not necessarily,
cycle,
but I think that the macros do give you flexibility when it comes to like another excuse that people use is like, oh, I'm too social.
Yeah.
Like for example, I eat out 3 times a week. I'm like, yeah, but you can still with macros, you can still be flexible with it.
I think they just can't.
I think there's a lot more groundwork that has to go into it for that person to be successful, and then it's a lot more that can go wrong.
Yeah, because
I think the reward for it is a lot higher.
Because people aren't. Even if you are allowing them the flexibility to go, they're not going to be able to go as hard as how they used to go.
Yeah.
Like, let's say for you, example, right? You can eat, right? And if you're doing fat loss, you just can't eat like that.
No, you can't. But I could.
You can manage it like and have a smaller version of it, but is that going to bang as much as like if you really ate like properly, like you know the way that you would just normally naturally eat?
No, it wouldn't. But that's why if you are dieting, that's why then the whole food changes.
Yeah, that's why I think people really struggle.
But for the first month, it wouldn't change because I'm not that hungry. If that makes sense. So for that first month of fat loss, it will be like protein shake, couple squares bars, right? Bagels, sandwiches, because it's just easier.
Yeah. But you have to make those changes, right? Let's say if we go to McDonald's and we eat, right? We always use McDonald's. But let's say you go to McDonald's, you can't eat the same meal that you would normally eat.
No, I would just avoid McDonald's. Yeah. I'd go Subway or something like that. Still eating.
Yeah, but even your normal Subway, you wouldn't be able to eat the same Subway.
To be fair, I get the same thing in Subway, which is just chicken and turkey bacon. Yeah,
but then what? You didn't have the amount of calories to eat.
Well, I might have to, you might. That's where you might have to get
because you eat 3 times a day or something out all day eating out.
Yeah, I mean there have been days where it's like it gets like that, and I guess that's where the bigger you are, the easier that kind of becomes.
To a degree, yeah,
because you have more option.
Yeah, and then the calories are you've got more calories to play around with, right?
And you just do that thing where it's like, okay, we're going out at 5 o'clock. I'm just gonna eat protein until then.
Still requires a degree of planning and knowledge. On
yeah, but of course. But that's why then working with your coach is really important. And having that, understanding about that.
Is that luck?
What?
Well, we can't afford a coach.
Still reach out. No, but that's knowledge though, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a difficult one because I always say like you can't live 100 kilo person's life and expect to be 60 kilos, right?
No.
You have, at some point you have to change. If you want to be that weight, you have to change. And that's going to come down to even no matter what you're doing, macros, whatever, something in your life has to change. Like whether it means that you have to move more than you ever used to, whether it means you have to eat less, the choices that you make, there has to be some sort of change. I think a lot of people don't make that change. Like, that's the big difference, right? So in terms of like too social as well, I guess you could still do it. Obviously, it's just enjoying things in that moderation, right? And I think actually, arguably, if you are a really social person, it might be more better that you do things in moderation. So if I look at like holidays, for example, right? My wife, she loves going on holidays, right? But she went on a holiday every fucking day. Like, let's say she like traveling. So imagine traveling every day to a different country. At some point, you get fucking pissed off.
Yeah, it's going to wear off, isn't it?
Right.
And the novelty will wear off.
Exactly. So this is the same when it comes to nutrition, right? If you're really social, you like having a drink, you like going out to eat. If you do that every single meal, every single day, then that novelty wears off. It doesn't become special anymore.
But I think for some people, they don't. You have to be a certain way inclined to think like that. Do you not think?
In what way?
Well, some people live for the weekend, for example.
Yeah. But
or they live for that Thursday, Friday.
But then if they didn't do that for longer, it would feel more special, right? Let's say every weekend you go out.
But then it's about how you fill up that time. So what are you going to do differently in that time? Meal prep?
Nah, but you could not, like, you could still go out but then not drink. And try to have fun without drinking or drinking less or whatever. But if you do it if you go out on the lash every single weekend, the only difference is how lashed you get.
But I think that's where,
and that's
I think for people
holiday,
that's a big thing, especially in our British culture, if you like.
Yeah.
Drinking comes with everything.
It's just normal.
It's a normal thing. It's weirder if you don't
it's like
drink.
drinking water.
Yeah, but it's weirder if you don't drink.
Yeah.
Like, I've been out many a times.
Yeah.
Many a times, never had a drink, and it's like, you're the weird guy. You're a weirdo. Not a weirdo, maybe that's a bit harsh, but it's like, what do you mean you don't drink? Like, it's like, I just don't drink.
Yeah. But it's
not that deep.
When you're so used to it, you don't care. Like, I never cared about anybody saying that.
Of course. But
some people do, though. If they're used to drinking and they're like, I feel like everyone's watching me.
Oh, yeah, I can't have a good time without having a drink. Yeah. And that's why I always say, if I need to have a drink to have a good time with you, I might as well just stay in my bed.
I think that's a challenge as well. Like, you should challenge yourself to have a good time without drinking.
Yeah, but you got to want to do that, which I don't think a lot of people will, or a lot of people do want to do that, because it exposes a side to you where it's like you're then vulnerable to a certain extent.
Yeah, I guess it's that social situation where you're like, I feel like I need something in my hand. Let's do something.
Something in your hand. Just have one of these bad boys.
Yeah.
But it's that thing of where it's like, what's your intentions when you go out? It's the same when it comes to food. It's like, we went to this restaurant and I had to have the pizza and the pasta. And it's like, well, why did you go to that restaurant? Did you go to that restaurant for the food, or did you go there to meet up with a friend who you've not seen for a long period of time and you wanted to have a catch up?
Yeah.
Because you could have had the same conversation and catch up with a salad.
Yeah.
And the experience would have still
coffee.
been... or coffee or whatever. You didn't need to order so many calories on the menu to have a catch-up with your friend.
Yeah. I think because I've been doing it for so long, I never felt like I couldn't have a fucking great time without eating or drinking.
Nah, I don't.
I'm just so... like, I've just been doing it. I've never
I've been on many a nights out whilst either on prep or dieting.
Yeah.
And then I've left the club or wherever I am, and I've run to my car, I've eaten my rice cakes and my chicken, and I've come straight back into the venue.
Have a good time.
Have a good time.
I mean, loads of people do it, right? Like, what? You're telling me people, like, obviously there's a lot of Muslim people that can't drink at all, right?
Yeah,
it's against religion. You think that none of them have a good time?
Yeah, I guess it's true.
They have a fucking great time, man.
But I guess it depends what you want to have a good time for. I would know that I would have a better time being in the shape that I want to be in, than sacrificing that for 4 hours out and about on a Friday or Saturday night.
But I guess people.
That's me personally, though.
People don't see it just yet, right? Because they see the big. Because when you make that initial change, right,
it's long.
You haven't got the results yet, but you don't get the thing that you like having. So
it's that delayed gratification, isn't it?
Yeah, but in that moment, it's hard to get how to feel that, right? Because you're like, I'm missing out on all of this, but then what am I getting in return? There's nothing just yet.
No, and that's
just like investment, right? When you just dump I spent a load of money, but fuck, I've just lost that money. I don't know, where's it gone? And you're just praying in the future that maybe that money is going to cash out and give you the cash that you want, right? The extras. But in that moment, you've lost like $5,000 or whatever of your savings, right, that you put in. It's that same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess, but that's like anything though, isn't it? It's like, where do you draw the line next? If you carry on living that sort of lifestyle, your delayed gratification that you're going to have, which isn't gratification, is that you could potentially be taking time off your life. Yeah. So if you look at it that way.
And that brings me down to the same excuse where people are like, they're not seeing results quick enough, so they just give up.
Yeah. After like a week.
Yeah. I was like, oh, my scale weight hasn't come down, so
I had that with it was a friend of mine as well, which made it a little bit more difficult. And set him up.
A lot of friends you got.
Set him up, everything. After 2 days.
2 days?
2 days, he's like, no, this is
shit.
Yeah. I don't
this is shit.
I don't want to live I can't do this. I was like, what do you mean you can't do this?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm hungry, I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, he's like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Done.
That was it, done.
Really?
And I was like, oh, all right, well, what should we do then? Like, are you saying that you're done, or you want to make a change? He's like, nah, this was silly. I'm not about this life. Like, this is ridiculous. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to beg you.
Yeah. That's hard, isn't it? Because then, like...
Yeah, but I think people like...
Do you think
if you're
they'll go back to it?
I don't know. But if you're someone that's going to give up after a certain period of time, I think that goes across like with anything that people do. So if you know something, especially when you're dealing with people that you know, if you know that they give things up regular,
right? Yeah,
it's more likely that they're going to give this up as well. Because especially something like this, where it's like, yeah, you might need to give this 6, 9, 12 months to then see.
I'll give up.
Yeah, like
yeah.
But it's like anything though. You know, I don't know how often you look back like at previous lifts for whatever, but you know that sometimes you're scrolling through your phone or whatever, you might see like, you know, like to add. I saw a video of me deadlifting like 140 kilos when I was like 20 or something. And you look fast forward now, it's like pushing on 300, hopefully 300 plus when it comes down to the time to do it. It's like that's taken 9 to 10 years to add that much weight onto it. But if you would have stopped at the 140 because you were upset you didn't get 150, you'd never then be able to be at where you're kind of at with that.
When it comes to that, what do you actually look at? Like what? Because I think back on that all the time as well myself. Like I'm like, what do I actually bite on? Like what makes me just keep doing it? Is it part of that food thing where you're just like, I don't really care, just repeating the same thing over and over again?
In terms of lifting?
Yeah, like what motivates you? Because obviously you're not going to see that result change all the time. It's actually quite slow. But
it gets slower as well, that's the thing.
Yeah, and you don't seem to really care. It doesn't really, like for me, it doesn't really faze me. I don't really care. But I just keep going. I just like, I was like, oh shit, I didn't do it today. Maybe next week. You know, I just keep going. And then before you know it, you're like 10 years down the line, you're like, oh shit. Yeah. You know?
I don't know. But I guess as you get older, you understand the process more, isn't it? So you understand that like you're not going to be able to. Like before, when you were younger, you might be able to like PB every week and like you're doing 1 rep maxes all the time and it's fine. And like, I was squatting 3 times a week. Yeah. Like squatting 3 times a week, deadlifting. Now I can only do one or the other. Yeah. Like, and only once a week. I was training 7 days a week. Now I train 4 days a week. Like, so over time, you just become more experienced, I guess, in what you're doing. And then you accept that it's not always going to be.
Do you think it's your expectations that because you just know what it takes, like you know that it's going to be slow and you know how slow it really is going to be? Is that what kind of keeps you going?
I guess it's that can always be better sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's one of the only
glass half full, half empty.
Yeah, I guess it's one of them only. Well, I guess you can look at that if you look at top level athletes as well. Usain Bolt could have been 0.01 seconds faster.
Yeah, it's luck, isn't it?
But where do you? At some point, you have to sit back and say, actually, I'm quite happy with what I've been able to do.
Yeah,
and it's taken me this long to get here. Can I still be better? Yeah, probably. But I think that's contentness, though, isn't it? It's like I'm actually, you know what? If anything was to happen,
I'm happy.
Yeah. I still did. I did all right. I did all right, actually.
Yeah.
Still managed to, like, if you pulled.
And I think it's that mindset that keeps you going as well.
Yeah.
Because you just think, oh yeah, I'm content. I'm cool with that. And then you just carry on.
But I think that's why then when something doesn't go right, it makes it a lot easier to accept.
Yeah, that's true. That's a really good way to put it, actually. I
think
really
that's how now more so with me, as I am getting older.
Yeah.
Okay, you're saying it. Well, I'm turning 30 next year, so it's really hitting me.
That's when the back starts hurting. Boy.
It's hitting me. I'm thinking about it more and more. I'm not worried about turning 30, but I'm turning 30 next year, and I think now I'm just more like, do you know what? There aren't many 30-year-olds doing what I can do, if that makes sense, or what I've done. So
I kind of forgotten my age now. I don't know.
What are you?
I don't know. I need to work out.
What do you mean you don't know?
I stopped counting. Like, you know, when you stop counting. Like, I'm at that point now where I've stopped counting, so I'm not actually sure.
I'm just
figure this out.
I'm just a bit like, whatever happens.
I'm 32 now. Actually.
Oh, you're 32.
I was thinking like, I don't think I'm 31. I'm 32. I stopped counting now.
So I'm like, yeah. So I'm just a lot more happy. Like, I'm happier.
Yeah.
Just accepting that. All right, if you can get a bit bigger, yeah, cool. If you get a bit stronger, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
But guess what? If you don't, it's not actually the end of the world.
Yeah, I'm happy with what I've achieved.
And there's bigger. Like I'm comfortable wearing double XL clothing.
Monster Factory, by the way.
Fruit of the Loom.
Fruit of the Loom, yeah.
Fruit of the Loom, and it not be oversized and be really baggy. Like, I'm happy with that.
Okay.
But I will still chase 3XL.
Yeah.
And it be fitted, not baggy.
At some point it might get there, and if it doesn't,
if it doesn't, it doesn't. Yeah.
I
might never have shreddy glutes, but if I do, I'm happy.
But then you're also not complacent with it either.
No, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I think that can happen where people are like, well, I don't mind, and then you don't put any effort into it, right? Because then you are the reason why it's not happening.
There's still an element of care.
Yeah.
But as like you become a dad, and things is just different. It's not.
You. It's so weird because it's like it feels like you don't care, like you're not pushing hard, but you're still obviously caring because you're putting a large degree of element of time into it.
Like, I care more about my golf game, than my fitness game.
That's so interesting.
But fitness and training is because it's done it for so long that it's just a part of my day.
Yeah, it's like your standard is here. Right?
I don't see it as a activity that I'm going to do. It's like, I've got work and then I'm going to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think about it. Whereas if I'm going to golf, I'm like buzzing, like cleaning my
it's
clubs.
It's a great day.
Yeah, like, it's a whole day out. Like, so I guess that's where it's become more like, okay.
That's mad though. Your sport is just walking. Like, you literally.
It's not walking.
It's
a
walking,
game.
man. Well, you hit the ball and you fucking have to walk.
Well, not if you're driving the buggy.
Do you drive the buggy?
If it's dry, yeah.
That would get me into it. I think I would like to. I'd love to drive that buggy.
It's just different because it's not. And it's something as well. Obviously, if you was going to, I'm not saying I'm great at either, but if I was going to compare the two, I'm better at weightlifting and training than I am at golf.
You can't drive the buggy on the grass, can you?
Yeah, you can.
You can?
Yeah.
Sick. Like, do people race the buggies?
Yeah, me and Mike have done that quite a few. In Turkey, I need to turn one over. It's ridiculous.
That is fucking funny.
I got stuck in the mud as well.
How fast do they go?
Only like 10, 15 miles an hour. Nothing
That
crazy.
is quality.
But yeah, no, it's all right. But I just think like, that's something now where it's like, I look forward to that more
than training.
Training is more now just like,
do you think it's because you're shit at it?
What, golf?
Yeah,
definitely. Because as I said, I'm not as good.
Yeah, so you're like, the progressions are quicker, right?
And
so
you're like, oh yeah, like it's more of a buzz.
I'm getting better.
Whereas like, it's like, oh, fuck, his deadlift has still been the same for like 2 weeks or whatever. And it's like,
I think it's that chase of progression where you get more reward from it than, say something you've been doing for a long time, because the improvement is going to be very marginal.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? But like I look at the editing and stuff like that, I get so much reward from it because I'm like, this is getting better. I'm getting better at. I'm doing stuff that other people can't do.
Yeah.
People do this for a job, and I'm like, can be better than
You're
some
just
of
a part-timer.
these. Yeah, and I'm doing better than some of these Hormozy style editors, right?
But I think that's where people need to just. It's not the end of the world. At the end of the day, like, yes, you want to achieve what it is that you want to achieve.
Yeah.
And it's going to take time, and you have to accept the fact that it's going to take time, but it's not your job. So that's how I always look at it as well. Like training, that's why people are like, "Oh, you're gonna take steroids," and like just it's like this is not my job. Yeah. I do it because I enjoy doing it. If I didn't enjoy doing it, the day I don't enjoy doing it, you won't catch me in the gym.
Yeah.
And I think that's the bottom line with it. You won't see me in the gym training anymore.
Yeah, that's one thing I've always said to someone. Like, they ask
you have to enjoy it, and I think a lot of people fail because they don't actually enjoy it. They don't enjoy that process.
They like the end result.
Yeah,
but they don't enjoy the.
You got to love the journey.
Yeah,
cliche, but you got to love the journey.
But that's what I always say. When someone says, "Would you ever take steroids?" It's like I always say, I don't care enough to take it, and it's weird to kind of say that because obviously I've competed like internationally. I've done tons of like powerlifting internationally. I've done bodybuilding. It's like you don't care enough to take it. Like who the fuck else does care?
People who are going to Ibiza.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I just don't. Yeah, for me, it's just like I don't want it enough.
No, definitely not.
To put because people don't really see the risks of it, right?
No, of course, but people see an image where you look sick, you look incredible,
but it's not the whole.
But they don't see all the stuff that come, all the health implications or the sacrifice. And there's a lot of sacrifice for those guys that are doing it.
One guy I saw in the gym first time, right? He actually said it to me. He's like, I can't remember what exact word he used, but he was just saying like, "Do you know anything about steroids?" Basically, and I was like, I just felt a bit guilty because I was like, "No, I don't know anything." And I was just thinking in my head, "Is like this guy don't think I'm natural."
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he thinks you're lying.
He just thinks I'm a fucking juice head. You know what I mean? And I was just like, I don't even know how to convince him that I'm not.
Piss in a cup and let him test it.
I just didn't. I was just like, fuck it. You just believe what you want, innit?
Yeah.
But I just said to him, like, why do you want to take steroids?
It's quick, isn't it? That's why.
And he was just like, well, yeah, I've been training for a while. I was like, yeah, but what do you want to get out of it?
Train harder.
Yeah, but like, if you're not where you are, where you want to be now, like, why? Like, is it really?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Is it going to excel? Like, what you?
It depends on
in the IB for classic.
It is. Yeah, it's tough. It is a tough one because people are going to do it that they want to do it because they want that end result quicker.
But I can get
the end result is always going to be when you get there, you're never still going to be happy.
Yeah, but I can get why some people want to do it because it takes time, right? And maybe they've been trying for many years and they can never get the result that they want. So then taking the drugs, it does excel that process, right?
Yeah, it does. But it's embarrassing though when you're still like,
yeah, that's hard.
You haven't even got that
because then you're
to show for
you're
it.
tapping into the trump card as such, right? Way earlier than anybody else is going to be needing to tap that. And obviously it depends on where you want to go with it. You're risking a lot for something.
Just stay natty, kids.
Yeah, stay natty. Is there any other excuses that you have? I say you.
Yeah, I got loads of excuses. I don't know. I always play with it's a difficult one, but women, when it's their time of the month, and obviously it's something that we never experienced, so we can't.
I don't know, sometimes I feel like I do.
Can't really comment too much about it, but
don't mansplain.
No, I always look at it from point of view as like, all right, but there's, like I said, there's elite level athletes out here doing elite level stuff who are females. So are they going through the same process as well?
Do you know what? Here's an interesting thing. I think a lot of female athletes, they have, what's it called? It's basically where they don't really have much of a menstrual cycle because they're under immense stress.
Well, if you take the pill as well, it stops your menstrual cycle as well, doesn't it? I guess, but
you still have a fake bleed though.
Not if you take it for a long period of time.
Oh, only if you skip in that month, the week that you're not supposed to, right? Yeah. But I'm just saying, like in terms of naturally, if they don't take the pill, they miss. Is it called Reds? I don't know if it's called Reds.
I don't know, bro.
Don't
mansplain it.
It's I can't remember the exact name, but basically because they're under immense stress and a lot of female athletes, they have to make weight, etc. They're training so much, they're actually very unhealthy in terms of their cycles and they have very irregular periods.
Well, you can get down to that with your low body fat as well, isn't it? So it'll stop the cycle.
I guess that's part of it, right? Because a lot of athletes are very low.
But I think it's really hard for me to say. But I think, looking at like even elite level athletes, like it's just something that you just have to get on with.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of guys as well, is the thing of like, oh, I feel sick, or I feel like this.
Sniffle.
Yeah, I got a sniffle, or I'm ill. I couldn't train this week because tummy hurts. It's like, I don't know. I guess it's just...
Even if you're shitting, just wear a nappy and train.
It just depends. It's how bad you want it, man. You either want it or you don't.
Shit press.
Yeah, literally. I don't know. I mean, if I was ill, I would... I don't really get ill, touch wood.
Yeah.
I had tonsillitis, bro. I was still training.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't... Yeah, I'm not into that. Like,
What,
when I get
ill?
tonsillitis and stuff like that, like, I get really bad headaches and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's just like...
And I'll vomit.
I feel better, though. Then I feel shit afterwards. But when I'm in it, I feel better.
No, I don't train if I'm ill.
Yeah, that's the
But
only-
when I'm
that's the
ill,
only
I'm
sort of
ill.
illness I had.
I'm not like, got a bit of a cold, I'm not, mine's like full-blown headache, vomiting.
I had tonsillitis, training. Didn't even know I had tonsillitis, but my thing was killing me. Then the next day I went skiing, flew to Switzerland, and...
Gave COVID to everyone.
This was like 2 years ago.
Okay.
Then went to the hospital, the doctors, they were like, yeah, you got tonsillitis, like, take these antibiotics.
Carry on.
I was like, all right. I was wiped out, though, for like that evening and the day. Those antibiotics killed me. But anyway.
I think the menstrual cycle one is obviously a difficult one. I never experienced it. So I don't know.
Females, let us know. Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's going to affect everyone differently as well, I guess.
That's it, right?
But there was a time where I was dealing with a lot of female clients, like more so than men, and it was a reoccurring thing for certain individuals. Like I'll never hear it from.
Is it what symptoms do you get? Like, is it hunger, struggling to stick to the calories?
Obviously, cramps, pain.
Yeah, can't do
things
anything,
like that.
can't
Yeah.
move. Yeah.
But I would never hear it from everyone, if that makes sense. So I guess it affects people differently, but I don't know.
I think it comes down to that. I always get my coaches like to think the only question that you need to answer is like, and then what? So what kind of thing? It's like, okay, you feel that way. So what are you going to do about it? Like how it's not about the thing itself, it's about how you then adapt yourself to that, right? So, okay, you feel that way. What you should, maybe if you're in too much pain, you're in stomach cramps, don't train then today.
Yeah.
Don't do what you need to do. And
But you're going to make up for it.
just carry on the next day. Accept that it is what it is, because your fat loss or whatever the thing that you're trying to do is a long-term thing.
Yeah.
It's not that one day or the week isn't going to affect you. If you're consistent for the whole year, one day a month,
Yeah, it's
12,
true.
or like, I don't know, a week a month, it's not even going to add up to like 2 months of the year, right? It's all about how many good days can you have. And then on those days where you are feeling like your stomach cramp, that doesn't mean that you can't deal with it through other things as well. Like, it doesn't mean that just because I've got stomach cramp and I can't do the steps that I need to do, can't train, doesn't mean you have to eat a whole world worth of calories, right? You can still, be at maintenance and stay stagnant. At least you're not going backwards with it, right?
For sure.
But it's that all or nothing mindset, right? Where you're like, I can't stick to it today. People don't go, I can't stick to it today. I'll just have a little bit more. They're always like, I can't stick to it today. So what is the point? I'm just gonna go for it, right? And that's where people do make.
That's where it
a
becomes
problem.
dangerous.
Yeah, that's where it becomes a problem, right? It's not. It's the reaction that you have for the situation. So if you answer that question of so what, that's what's gonna allow you to excel from that position. What about motivation? What about a lack of motivation? Like, that's a huge one. People say, I don't have much motivation. I'm struggling to do this. Like, what do you have find people say that?
It's not really something that I've come across, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
I think over a long period of time is when that kind of may creep in. Well, I guess that's when you as a coach, how are you going to keep your client motivated? What like little milestones you're going to make sure that they're hitting? It's like, that's what I like to do with clients, is like work into phases. So it's like phase 1 is going to be the next sort of 10 weeks or whatever, and then by the end of it,
little milestones.
Yeah, you'll be here, so you would have lost X amount of weight, you'll be here, and then we're going to implement phase 2, which is this, and then we're going to implement phase 3. And then it's just how it comes across. So it's like, rather than just like, we're going to do this, and then for however many weeks, then we're going to get to the end of it and see what it kind of looks like. It's like you can vision it in your head before you get there.
Take it chunk by chunk.
chunk by chunk, yeah.
I always feel like, you know, when people say lack of motivation, it's like what we were saying before, right? It's a little bit of a scapegoat in the fact that, is it really motivation? Is that the reason why you are not able to do something? Like, what does that really mean? Like, what's the actual? Why are you struggling with motivation?
Well, what's your barrier with it?
Exactly. So is it? Oh, I'm struggling with motivation. That's why I didn't do it. But is it like? Are you struggling with motivation because it's hard? Are you struggling with it because you are struggling with time? So then you're not motivated?
Not seeing the results that you want.
That's it, right? So you have to I think it's important to dig a bit deeper to be like, what part of motivation are you struggling with? Like, something is triggering that response, but you're just telling me the response. You're not necessarily telling me the issue. So if you're constantly trying to improve motivation for a client, it's like, these people are going to need it more and more. So if you come in and be that cheerleader and be like, hey, no, you're going to be good. Well, that's a short-term fix for that moment. And then it's going to happen again. And it's going to happen in a shorter window. And your technique and your strategy of giving someone that cheerleader effect, it's going to wear down. You're going to need it more frequently, right? And it's not going to have that same impact versus if you give it sporadically, right? So it's important to figure out what is their actual issue versus just like the scapegoat of motivation. That's where I feel with that. But yeah, motivation is a big one. A lot of people use it, right? Just say the word. They say the word.
They don't want it bad enough.
Yeah, that's it. It's all luck. Yeah, luck is a big one, isn't it?
It's lucky if you're motivated or not.
Yeah, that's it. Is it? Yeah. Oh, but actually, people do say that. Oh, you're lucky you're well motivated. Like all the time. Is it?
You're lucky that you like going to the gym. You're lucky that you like doing this.
Oh.
I don't know.
You think so?
Nah, I don't think that's luck. I think motivation is what you.
But then, what if you?
Keeps you going.
What if you're overweight before, like your whole life?
But it's like when people say, "Oh yeah, you're lucky that you were fat before, so then you were able to build more muscle." It's like, it doesn't even make sense.
But then there's something going to be unlucky about that because you're gonna struggle to get lean, right? Because you're so fat.
Yeah, of course. So it's luck. It's other luck. Oh, I don't know.
Depends which way you look at it.
It depends how you want to look at it.
Jesus. Going back a few podcasts. But yeah, we hope you found this discussion interesting. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to leave us a review on iTunes and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you find yourself making any of these excuses and struggling with your own fitness journey, you can find me on Instagram @gymwithhim, and my co-host is @Archie13 with 2 E's. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.
Yeah, let's go. Where's some walk quick?
All right.
Spicy, man. That
Spicy, yeah. Did you get the spice on it?
No, but I get mild and medium, and I put the Tabasco chipotle on. That's nicer.
I'll put that spice thing on it. That's nice.
That's too spicy, bro.
Pussy, yo.
Not in front of me. Not in front of me.
Right.